Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here again. It's another episode of Mo Stories. I'm your host, Motar, if I would hear me, your favorite one. I'm here today with one of my guys, Chris Rhone. He's the founder of Unique Hoops. Was one hell of a player. Before social media started following players around. I wish it was then when back when he was playing, so y'all could see what I'm talking about.
Calling me old, man.
But you know what I mean. That his time, he was a great player. 957 points in 2 seasons at Shenandoah. You don't put up those kind of numbers being an average player. Today now he runs a very unique basketball program called Unique Hoops. So here he is today. I'm here to talk a little bit about his playing days and what the future holds for Unique Hoops. So, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Rhone.
Appreciate it.
What's up, brother?
What's up, Doc?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm gonna get right into
First
it.
off, I had 979. We got to.
Oh, damn!
The numbers up there.
I know you big on that. My bad. Yeah, my bad. 979. So 21 points short of 1,000 in 2 seasons, man. That's great. That's great. I got to see some of your highlight tapes too when I first got to SU. One thing I really admire about your game, the ball never really comes far out from right here.
Yeah.
So I remember the couple times I played against you in open gym, I was banking on the ball coming out so I could try to strip it, but it never did.
Yeah.
And you were so low to be your height. You were so low with the ball. The crossovers were low. It reminds me of everything I learned coming up. So I admire that much about your game. The pull-up midi was crazy. I admired that one as well. So all in all, you were a great player. So
I appreciate that.
what you're doing right now is I hope these kids buy into it, especially coming from a player of your caliber. So tell me about basketball. Where did that start from for you, and who were the biggest influences you had growing up?
For me, it's like I grew up in D.C., so in the city, it's like all we had was basketball. We had single moms, so my mom worked all the time, so we go to the sports that we gravitate to that's less effective with cost. Basketball, then everybody in the neighborhood, my friends, everybody on the B Street block was basketball, so back then we wasn't allowed to go up the street a little bit. That's where all the activity was. So, it really was a community of us just playing basketball, and we loved it. So, like you said, this was before the social media era. So, we watched TV. Sundays was dedicated 3 o'clock to watching the Bulls. It wasn't dedicated, when it's not, you got social media to go. It's like, man, 3 o'clock, I got to be in the house. Jordan about to play. So we just fell in love with sports at an early age, like any kid. So the love of it just came with just being in the neighborhood, playing. And I remember we didn't have our first basketball court until one of my friends, Javon, his mom bought a basketball court for the backyard. We was playing in trees and stuff.
So
we found a little limb. No, it was trees. We found a limb. So me and my brothers, man, that's buckets, and then we used to watch, like, it'll be probably, let's just say, Pistons, Chicago Bulls. So rest in peace, Woody. So that was Mo's little brother. So we'll go outside. Woody was the youngest. He'll be on my team. Javon and Mo, they'll be on the same team. We'll be the Bulls. They'll be the Pistons, and we'll go at it for 7 games. So it was, the love came from just watching it, playing it, and like you said, my mother, she worked, had a great job, but being a single mom, the resources that you could provide, you did everything you could, but, nobody was out spending that type of money for us to play sports, so.
Did you play AAU? Did that
Well,
help
AAU was my junior year of high school. So my first AAU team, we was called Metro Players. That's when AAU first kind of like cracked the scene after DC Assault. So I moved. Well, I didn't move to Maryland. My mother moved to Maryland. We was 15. I was turning 16. I just started driving. So. When we moved from DC, and then DC you graduate, I graduated 9th grade. So 10th grade is when I started high school. So AAU came my junior year. I'll never forget, I went to Crossland, so we had Zach Marbury, Stephon Marbury come down. He played, And it was new. It was new. We had a group of guys from Alexandria, Virginia, that was coming across. I'm like, how these Virginia guys able to play?
Yeah.
Maryland, DC guys. I'm like, what's this? So it was called Metro Players.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Levi, my coach Franklin, I don't know if Coach Levi, I don't know if he started because it was so far back. I don't know if he started it or one of his brothers, but I know it was Metro Players, and we played. We played a couple games, Germantown, Virginia. We was playing all over. But we wasn't going North Carolina. We wasn't going out of the state like that. I think, but that was the introduction of AAU for me. And that was right after DC Premier. I mean, not DC Premier. DC Assault kind of like put their imprint onto the AAU game. It was, So I was able to play travel basketball, AAU basketball.
Yeah.
But it was it's crazy because I was right at one of the pioneers of it.
Yeah. That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Because that AAU stuff was big back then. I mean, it's a lot more AAU now, but back then you had to be there.
Yeah. It just meant something more.
Yeah.
Like this stuff now is not AAU. Try this stuff right now. It's not. This is you got the premier the premier programs, but it became such a business right now that the travel part of it ain't even really. It's not really what it used to be. It meant something and it was authentic. Now it's just anybody can do it. So it just kind of watered it down, and you ain't gonna change it because it became such a big business.
The money in it is way bigger than before. So, what kind of player were you when you first started playing, like high school, and what kind of player did you become at the end of college?
I think. Well, you asked me who I was inspired by growing up. One of my favorite players when I was young, my favorite player, rest in peace, I used to think I was Lawrence Moten. I used to love Lawrence Moten. Wear my socks like him. Everything, Then we had a couple of playground legends, like street legends growing up in the city. Tutu was one of the guys that I ain't gonna say I looked up to, but I did admire his game. So when we playing at number 13, I used to see him coming in. All of the guys, but Tutu was one of the ones I used to be like, I really like his game, man. But that's more street. For college, it was more Lawrence Moten and the pros. Back then, Jordan, like I tried to do all Jordan stuff. But Tim Hardaway, man, was one of my favorites, man. So.
Man, it makes sense now.
It
makes sense. It makes a lot of sense now. I just talked about how you keep the ball tight. And within, you don't let it go too far out. All the crossovers was within the waist. Tim Hardaway.
So all the guards was like, all the players like Jordan, and I'm like, man, I like Tim. I like Nick Van Exel. So I'm like all of the guards that was fast and shifty. I'm like, I love the way they played. So.
What was a big obstacle you faced
in life?
No, in basketball when you first started.
I would say confidence. I used to be able to be on the streets and like play free. And then when you playing in a game, I don't know what it was. When I was young, I used to process things like at first was when I see a crowd, you like, am I playing for the crowd? You make a mistake, you start thinking like, dang, everybody in the crowd looking at you. So it was a confidence thing and just not playing for the crowd, just trusting playing for me. So that's one of the biggest obstacles was being able to understand, identify with, man, like the crowd and my game is different. If I make the mistake, I'm okay with it. But when you growing up in the city and you're in PG County high school, man, sometimes, man, we Joan or you got hit. You got, so it's rough, it gets rough.
I know what you mean.
Like you got 3 turnovers in a row, get them up out of there, sorry, I don't know what. You like, what?
And they say, people saying that, they right there on the
sideline. And then tomorrow in school, they telling you too, dog, how you turn that joint over 3 times? So,
it's crazy, man.
But once you start, getting tougher skin, man, and understand, like you said, man, that's one of the biggest obstacles, man. It was confidence.
My last interview, I did it with Coach Rob Harris, which coached your final 2 years. He raved about how you were meant to be a D1 player. He never thought he had any kind of chance of you coming to Shenandoah. So when you called him, he was thrilled. tell me about how do you feel you were supposed to be D1, but you broke your ankle.
Yeah, I was already, but I was in the IA Division One,
Uh-huh.
so it was different. Yeah.
So what was that like coming to D3? Now in 2026, D3 players, they don't really, it's not too much of a difference from D3, D1.
Yeah.
So how did you handle that? You knew you were supposed to be D1, but when all the chips fell, you picked to go to D3. Shenandoah.
I think the reality of it was when you in the city, man, you just want to play basketball. So you try and get out. You know, you looking at your friends. One of my friends, Taj, Big Kevin Lyon, they went to Oak Hill. I'm still stuck in Maryland. I'm like, man, I love what they did, but you start seeing like all these other opportunities out here for this basketball. My mother, you know, she had no clue. So I think for me, I think back then basketball was stronger than it is now, like from the division standpoint, because we didn't know, you know. So when I was coming out of high school, I got letters, Bowie State, UDC. I was getting letters and some like, but I didn't know like when you go to these camps, people are like, oh, I really like that kid. I didn't know what none of these divisions meant.
Man, yeah, you just want to hoop.
I just want to hoop.
Yeah.
So then when I went to Southern Maryland for that 1 year, I was like, just gonna bring it up. But I'm like, man, I got an opportunity to get a full scholarship. I went out to Oklahoma, right? Played, broke my ankle. And I didn't think and process, you're about to give up a full scholarship to come to Division III. I called my mother. She was like, stay. I called my father. You know, he was like, man, you do whatever you need to do. And I think of my father, I think if he was in the household with me and been like, yo, you're not going nowhere, then I would have stayed and but then if I stayed, I wouldn't have had all of this. I would probably not be here, you know. So when I called Coach Harris, what happened was you go from playing basketball, right? And then when you break your ankle, now when the team goes to travel, I'm not able to travel. So I'm sitting in the room and I'm just like, yo, I can't hoop. I mean, when I broke my ankle, you got to think my ankle turned all the way around. And like I was laying on my stomach and my toes was in the ceiling. The Paul George injury. Yeah, so I couldn't.
Man, that's really.
Yeah.
How long did you sit out?
I was out probably say about 9 months. When it happened, I laugh now because I'm on my stomach, my foot all the way around. All my teammates, they ran. I'm like, y'all stuck. It was so gruesome, you know. They ran. But man, I don't even remember them. I remember going to the hospital, them snapping. That was so drugged that they snapped it back in place. But anyway, make a long story short, so once I got comfortable with the screws and the plate in my ankle, and like you said, go back to the level of the game, I was like, man, can I hoop?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, we're going to get you back. He said, now these going to be in your ankle the rest of your life. This was back then.
Yeah.
So I think what happened was, you know, you sitting in the suite, you getting depressed, your team not there, you drinking, you know, back then we drinking all sorts of cheap E&J. You're like, oh, I got my daughter at home. I'm like, man, I'm about to go ahead. And that summer, man, I was playing in the collision, man, and Rob, coach, I tell people this all the time, man. I don't call Rob, I call him Coach. You know, Coach Rob, Coach Harris, man. As long as he's so impactful in my life, he's always gonna be my coach. Not gonna be just Rob. No, that's my coach. You know, so I call him Coach Harris. Was like, man, I said, man, look, I don't think I want to go back out Oklahoma, man. I just want, you know, friend. And then summer we partying, you know the DC club life. I'm like, yo, I can still do this a little bit. So, I can still, I can go. I was like, man, I'm about to shoot to Virginia, man. And when I came home that summer, I drove up here and visited. I was like, and then there's no disrespect to any coaches, you know. For me, my coach Batista, man, I love him. You know, I love playing under him, but I think from being a black coach too, I felt trust. I felt it. Not that I love Coach Batista because I felt we was very, you know, like in good hands with him. But I just was like I thought back then, man, having a black coach was a bonus for me. So I didn't even. And then they found me so much money at Shenandoah. It's like, yo, I'm about to give up a full ride. They're like, oh, we want to find some money for you.
To get you to come. That's great, man.
But I didn't understand that back then, man.
Man, when I came to SU, I just knew, let me go back to what you said about calling Coach Rob
Yeah.
coach. That's the same way I see my junior college coaches, Coach Cherry and Coach Crutchfield. I don't call them by their names
Nah, you
because
shouldn't.
they meant so much to me. Like
Yeah.
without them, I probably won't be here because I didn't play high school. So when
Yeah,
I went to
yeah,
them, they just saw what I could do and let me play.
yeah.
And that's why I don't call them by their first
Yeah, you
name. I
shouldn't,
always call
man.
them
Tell
coach.
tell my young players, man.
Yeah.
If somebody impact on your life and they coach you and they
Mhm.
inspired you and they helped you grow into the man you are, they your coach. They
Yeah.
not. You ain't know no first name basis.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm 20 years removed from playing under them, and
Mhm.
when I see Coach Cherry on, he coached Vanderbilt now.
Yeah.
When I seen him when they won, I text him, "Yo, Coach, congratulations." I'm sure he probably looking like he still doesn't call me my first name, but I can't. I can't.
That's rules to the game, man.
Yeah, yeah. The 2003 2004 year at Shenandoah University, you averaged 19.7. Y'all won the conference that year. What was the best? What was the biggest moment of that season to you that you remember?
Man, I just think that team, man, was a special team. That was my first year, and you know, like anything, you coming in, you transferring, and you like, I'm thinking they looking at me like, man, we been here.
Yeah.
This guy ain't coming to take nobody's spot. I'm looking at them like, y'all got me all the way messed
Yeah,
up.
I'm
This
coming
is-
for somebody.
This is my team here, brother. I don't care who on this floor. This team knows I came off the plane knowing this is my team here. You know what I'm saying? And just to have that confidence with each other, man. You know,
Yeah.
they was at first it was button heads because I had to prove the outfit. Like
Yeah.
like y'all ain't, and then once we
Yeah.
started gelling, man, we was such a good team, man. We was immature.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing we did, man, we kind of did everything together, man. Like party, all the dumb stuff you could do in
Yeah,
college,
you
we
did.
did. And then we had a bunch of dogs in that team, so I already knew, like we gonna fight. Like we gonna fight. We gonna be scrappy. They allowed me. They finally embraced the role that I had. Which, like you said, like as far as like letting me go out there and kind of like not do me, but let me go out there and dictate, what type of style we gonna play, and then everybody kind of gravitated to their roles, man. And once they gravitated to the roles, man, we was clicking, So I just think some of the memories we had was more off the court, man. We was always together, man. The parties, man. The back then apple blossom, man. We got into a lot of stuff.
Coach Rob, he mentioned that whenever you guys played D2 or anybody that was like had a big name, he mentioned that it seems like you took it personal. So when y'all went against Shepherd, that was one of the games he felt like you took it personal. That's the 40-point game.
Nah,
is there any truth behind that?
I don't think I took it personal. I just had it like I told you. I ain't look at back then. Like you got to think all of my look at who I played with. So all of my high school guys were D1 players or high division 2. We just ain't have the grades. The same thing with me. We didn't do no schoolwork. Taj Division 1 player, Kevin Lye Division 1. All the guys in the city I played with growing up, all Division 1 guys. Think about the neighborhood who I'm playing. I'm playing all of the street legends, Division 1 guys. So Baby Shaq, Division 1 guy who did schoolwork. So you looking at it like, dog. the smoke I faced growing up and the smoke, looking at you like this is light work here. This is light, So Division 2 Shepherd, when we came in there, man, I'm looking at them like, only difference is the divisions. But if we don't even know, if you hear Division 2 is higher, we're like, man, I think if I could put 30 or 40 on Division 1 guys. Playing the Division 2 guys, I might not get 30 or 40, but I know I'm gonna get 20. And then the higher the level, maybe when you play like against like a 5-star, one of them 4-stars, if I can get 20, 30 on this guy, then I know I can get at least 10 to 12 on a high major guy. You know what I'm saying? Because he still got a guard. You know what I'm saying? And I know I can get to the free throw line. Now I got a guard back, so when you looking at Shepherd or the Liberties and them, man, we went at them because we like
this is normal.
And the biggest thing with Division II, Division I, if you ain't high major, them little low major D1s, man,
Yeah.
guards all be kind of the same size.
Yeah.
They got
Yeah.
more bigs.
Yeah. So I know what you mean. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
The D3, like go back to you said all the people you played against
Yeah.
had already
Grew up
had
with.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it when I came from Germantown coming to Shenandoah.
Yeah.
Oh, practice starts October 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when my brother had ACL surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Coach Rob's office. I'm like, yo, I'm going home.
Mm-hmm.
And he like, practice starts tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, I know. And he said, if you go home, when you come back, you got to start from the bottom of the pack.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking to myself, like, that's not a problem. I've been in open gym I already saw I'm not disrespecting my teammates, but I seen the best that you got.
Yeah.
I seen everybody on the team.
Yeah.
None of them can hold water close to what I just came through with Coach Cherry and Coach Crutchfield.
Yeah.
So I left. I came back on the 16th or the 17th.
Yeah.
He put me on the white squad. Man, I lasted like maybe 30 minutes on the white squad before he was like, all right, go ahead, come on back to blue. So we done faced it so much at home. Like when we go off to other places, man, you better be about it because if you're not, I'm going to kill you. Yeah. Unique Hoops, you started it in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
What gap did you see in Winchester area that made you decide to start your own program?
Well, we first off, when I graduated college, right, I had gotten a little trouble here. So I went back home kind of like to clear the air, just like, man, I got to get out of there, man. I feel like I was being profiled, but I look back at it and go, yeah, you should have. You was doing, I'm doing it. Yeah, you should have been profiled.
Yeah.
But I mean, not to that degree. But anyway, I went back home and I kind of got my thoughts together, and I was like, yo, I was the athlete of the year 2 years in a row, man.
Yeah.
First team, all that. I'm like, man, I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to leave my legacy for what you think. I'm going to show you everything you cheer for is what I am. So I'm going to come back out there. And I seen the need when I got back out here because you had kids that was dribbling and the ball was being hit, and you had the shot, the forms. The coaches, it was like we doing Euro steps. They was like, oh, that's a trap. I'm like, man, that's like the game was so behind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think I laugh at this because Eric Green had a program out here first, and I'll never forget. I went to go talk at one of his camps, and then I went to like one of their board meetings, and I was like, man, I ain't going, nah. Cause and then let's go back. We was going to do the after school program, which was my hoop dreams with the guy Taj Hawkins, the founder of New World. So me and him played. We grew up together, played high school ball. So when Taj had a business partner, we was going to go ahead and franchise my hoop dreams to Winchester. I'm like, yo, let's take that after school program right ahead. Well, we young, we don't know how to franchise. We just talking crazy that franchise. Like, they ain't got no paperwork together. But anyway, he had a business partner at the time that I was like, yo, I felt third fiddle. I was like, man, I can't rock with this, man. I went and prayed about it. Then I was like, yo, I'm putting all the money out here into this. So if I'm putting all my resources into this, I'm doing my own thing kind of anyway. So I talked to them went home, had a conversation like, guys, I'm just gonna do my own thing. And they was upset. Then 5 years later, it's like, now you see him shift from the business partner, his own thing. You're like, yeah, sometimes you gotta learn, you gotta grow. So then my wife now at the time, she was like, said the Rising Stars had me in a meeting. I'm like, man, I ain't. And then I was just gonna focus on, my after school program and the training.
Yeah.
And then they had Grant, Bryce, Shaheem on the team. This was the Rising Stars, like 2010 or this is 2010. So they had Grant was 6 foot. Bryce's little brother was 5'9". Grant was probably 6'1". Bryce's little brother 5'9". Shaheem, little snotty nose, 10-year-old, 5'5", fast as all outdoors. They had a couple more players.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, yo, like they end the season in February, right? I'm like, why would they end in February? But I didn't know at the time. I ain't gonna say this because I don't know the politics and the dynamics of it, but this was to me considered their B team. You know, they had other players on the A team that kept going. So when they season ended, she was like, hell no, we paid all this money. We want to keep playing. She was like, well, can you coach them? I was like, nah. I was like, nah. I already had a meeting with the Rising Stars. I see I ain't getting involved, and I definitely ain't coaching nobody on no Rising Stars. You know, so or nobody's umbrella. So, and that's not them. It's just saying I'm not going under nobody's umbrella. You know, I just want to focus on my after-school program. Then she came up with this bright idea. Well, like we gonna coach them then. Me and her and another one of her parents, females, was like, oh no, we gonna coach this. I'm like, man, I'm looking at Grant I'm first off, I'm looking at the Rise Stars like, this kid is 6 foot. His brother is 5'9". Why you got him on anybody's B team at 10 years old, right? Yeah. So, but he wasn't good. Yeah, he wasn't good. So when she said she was gonna coach him, I was like, man, I got it. You know what I'm saying? And then there you go. That's how it all. She baited me to do it, man. Yeah. And then we came out with a UH Force joint. And then as soon as I seen Grant, I'm looking at him being 5 and 6 foot. I'm like, we gonna stretch you out. Yeah. I mean, immediately. Yeah, you no longer in this pose. You way back then, like free throw line, 3-point line, and I worked with him, so he struggled. But look at him now. Like that touch started at 2010.
That's a lot. That's years of work.
Yeah.
So how do you tailor your coaching to match different age groups?
I think through years of learning. Back then, if I'm a younger coach, I'm gonna go off principles that I learned from Coach Franklin, Coach Rob, Coach Batista, like all of the great coaches I had. Then it's gonna be my way. The generation starts changing. You gotta gravitate to it. And as you get older, I feel like, you know, my voice is heard. So I don't have to yell and scream as much as I did when I was younger because you know, my voice is heard. So my delivery can come any way because you play for me. You see what I'm saying? And that's a privilege to be playing for me, you know. So I would say I cater to the younger kids, more patient, more learning. To the older kids, I used to yell. I don't do a lot of cursing and stuff. I used to be a cursor, like, yo, after this, man, I don't do all of that because I'm like, man, this you know, stupid. You know, I can deliver this the same way. So now you know, just getting older, getting a little bit more wiser. I ain't getting no high blood pressure. And I think I got a good friend now. He started an app called Gymnase. You know, the app I use called Gymnase is a personality app. Focus on personality. IQ is it's an intelligence app. So now I got access and data on my coaches. I have access and data on my players. So now I can just deliver him messages. I see they scores, and I'm like, okay, how would you coach this kid? Explain to me how to coach this kid. He'll send me back, pow, pow. So I have so much data. I watch so much film now, and I have so much data on the kids that it's like it makes the coaching a little bit easier. But I tell my younger, and I'm molding that into the younger coaches. Like all my young coaches, I'm like, man, look, I'm training you guys to be better than me. So the way to be better than me, where my mistakes was it wasn't that I thought it was all about me. I want to hear, right? I didn't want to meet you halfway. Now I can meet you halfway a little bit because I know you still learning the game. Now sometimes I might, hey, this is your ceiling. You know what I'm saying? This is where you are. You know, and I tell a parent or a kid that too. Sometimes a kid reaches their ceiling early. You know, just studying data. It's a lot of data out here. Realizing who you are as a man, the more you grow as a man, the more I grow as a man, the more I grow as a father, the more I grow as a husband, the better I am to coach. The more wisdom I gain, the more the more knowledge I get, the more I pour down into different morals and values on kids. So the more you grow as a man and as a person, the more you're gonna be able to grow these young children, man. So just growth. Growing, learning, reading.
I always applaud great players that coach because I feel like it's a lot of patience. You just said back then you wanted it now versus now. I think from hearing that, I think you saying you want it now. It's because of how much work you put into be
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
So you're thinking, I've done my part already. You got to come on.
Yeah.
But now you're not playing. Is it very difficult to try to reach a kid with words? Because it's different if you're looking in the mirror and saying, Chris, I need to shoot better. I need to work on my form. I need to work. It's different than you can go out and do it. But when you're those same attributes, you want a kid to get better. Do you find it hard to reach them with just words? Because that's all you got as a coach is words.
Now, I think it's a different generation. The way you reach these kids now, I give y'all the secret. You got to reach these kids with love, man. Like, these kids not built like us. So they need to be loved. They need to be talked to different. They need to be a little, they call it soft coaching. No, like, so I'll give you an example. So, well, I ain't going to give you this secret. I'll just give you this terminology. We've been working on this.
Yeah.
You know, your mouth is a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
So the things that come out of it, kids gonna gravitate to it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't know what them kids are going through in school, man. So when they going through something in school, they bringing that problem in these doors, and you increasing the problem by not even identifying with, man, like, yo, like, what's good, man? You good today? You know, and a lot of times kids just need to hear you good today. So the more love you can pour into these kids, man, like, that's really the key to this generation, man. They can't, and people be like, well, they can't take it. They not like. Well, they not like us.
Yeah, that's the truth.
That's the truth. Yeah. So what you gonna do? Just keep getting mad at yourself, and you gonna find a way to balance. And I think it's a balance. Like, be hard, be stern. Like, there's nothing wrong with telling that. I tell my son all the time. Like, I didn't before, but now I tell him all the time. Yo, you the best point guard in the area. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna be one of the best point guards in the state of Virginia. You are that. And he like, yeah. And 4 years. It's just that simple delivery. You are the best. You put the work in. It ain't because of me. You in here shooting. You in here working. You in here. Look at all of the players that he had. That's like the Gabes. They just at our house. He's a young kid, just naturally just playing games with keep on, and he's a pros now. Yeah. So he don't identify you in a basketball. Your brother done graduated college basketball. So you are that. Yeah. But in the past, I'm like, you ain't working. You ain't doing this. You ain't doing that. You didn't do it. The only way you gonna make it. Yeah. He like, I feel forced now, dog. You are that. What you want to do about it? Now I just want to go to the gym now. See what I'm saying? You are that. You want to keep being that? You want that? You want the responsibility for being, you want to be the best? Don't say I want to be the best. All the time, I want to be the best. I tell him, you are the best. Right? You are the best. He like, all right, that don't mean you cocky, but yeah, you are the best.
Yeah,
if you think you ain't the best, let somebody come line up against you. You either gonna get two things gonna happen to you. When somebody better than you come match up against you, they're gonna destroy you, and you're gonna grow from it, or you're gonna destroy them, and they can grow from it. But two things gonna happen: you competing, and as long as you competing, you the best because you on the floor with the best. Yeah, so. It's just the delivery, man, and the love. Like, my daughter the same way. But Shaheem had it where, it was younger. Tashir got it where it was. And I said, switch it like, dog, be who you are. Yeah. Be great. You know what I'm saying? And I tell all the kids, like, be who you are. Like, I had one of my players, we came back from Texas, kid from Warren County, McCarty, man, he averaged 23 and 13 out there. And he I wouldn't tell him. I'm like, why? He averaged 23 and 13. And if you don't tell him, right? If you don't tell him, it's not a secret to where we playing. And people know he averaged 22 and 13, so he needs to understand that at a young age. Here's what's going to come with that. Crabs in the barrel going to come with that. Here is a lot of responsibility going to come with that. You're going to be double teamed. You're going to be talked about. You need to know this at an early age. You're a humble kid. But if you a 23 and 13 guy, that's who you are. See what I'm saying? Embrace it. I tell all coach, be who you are. So when I broke it down to him, that's pouring love into him. Like, be who you are. That's what you are. If you average 23. Now I average 25 for me. Coach, I got you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I like that, man. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, you got to show these kids more love, man.
Yeah, because we do say that a lot of these kids ain't like us. Well, we're right. They're not.
They're not.
All right. What's been the most rewarding transformation you've seen in a player?
Man, mines go way beyond basketball, man. Like, I can give you key things, man. I ain't gonna speak on this, but like Cam Jackson, man, that's his wedding picture up there. This is jersey. His jersey shouldn't. His jersey possibly it shouldn't be hanging in here. It should be somewhere that really was college or it's hanging. His first professional jersey sign hanging right there. His wedding picture, right there. Kids, my players getting married. Like, yo, Coach Chris, man, I'm about to have Kervin. I'm about to have my first baby. I'm like, you about to have a girl? He's like, yeah, that's what you get. Like all of that nonsense. Then you about to have a girl. So that's the reward that comes with this, man. Or, hey, Coach, man, I just signed another pro deal. Or Coach, how you guys doing? Or them are the rewards that come with, man, the legacy, man. Like, or I'm going through some, even if they playing college basketball and I've had players, the NCAA tournament call me and be like, Coach, man, I ain't play well. I'm like, man, you on that floor, right? Like, yeah. So, still to get them calls 3 o'clock in the morning with them still wanting your knowledge or really like, they experiencing that next chapter of their life as far as manhood, getting married, having a baby. They call and invite you to the wedding or sending you pictures of their first child, bringing, that's what I still do this for, man. Yeah.
Is Cam the first Hanley player to make pro? Because I'm saying that I figured his jersey would be in their gym as well.
I don't know. That's a good question. I would assume.
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
I would think the first because I think Mike Brown's touched it a little bit. I don't follow. It's crazy. I follow high school basketball in this area, but throughout the years, I pop up at games every now and then. So I don't know, but I wouldn't know that. But I mean, like I said, it could be hanging in their gym, but I know I got one hanging in my head.
Yeah.
So that tells you as far as the impact of and the love that we have as KLP kids and the KLP foundation that we have for each other, man. And that's way bigger. Let's say Cam or Grant or Amir or any of my pros, they sign. I know that they sign 6-figure deals. I don't ask them for nothing. That's way bigger than any time. And if somebody say right now, can I buy that? You can never buy that.
Yeah, I'm not selling that. Like,
you can never buy that.
Certain things, and money ain't enough money. You're gonna give it to me. I'm gonna take it. Nah.
So
that's so great for Cam. That's great. That's a testament to how much you know basketball and teach it and can reach people. Because that's this and they come back.
We got like Kevon, Kevon, Cam, Gabe, who else? Bryce touchdown. We got a lot. We got a lot to touch the professional level now. Yeah, a lot.
That's great, man. That's a great accomplishment for Unique Hoops. What was the biggest challenge in building Unique Hoops up since 2009? No, 2009.
It's common sense, man. It's the area. The nepotism, the you're not from here. You're not a part of this clique. Like I'm not from here. My wife from here. Like you got my Shaheem. He's from here. And you got other people on the wall, but he's from here. He ain't on the wall. He done graduated college, played college basketball. He didn't put his foot down. So biggest thing is just overcoming the challenge of the community, trying to put rumors out there, say certain, like one of the dumbest rumors I hear, and I tell people this all the time, like, and I had a friend that used to do this too, man. I got to bring my kid to you for some ball. I'm like, shut up. Like, you go to Rhone. I just told you I had a 6'10". That's overseas playing when I saw him at 10 years old. I stretched the shot out. And you're like, well, he only teach ball handling. You like, well, Jaleel done scored 2,000 points in college. Grant you think they can't shoot? Make it make sense. I got all these pros, all these guys playing, all these I've been training for 17 years, but you come to me to get your handles tight. You're like, okay. And then these people in the community believe that. So you say the rumors, because they don't want you training their kids, so they putting this. He only do basketball. Ball handling. Or he ain't a part of this. Or my cousin is this person, so I gotta have my son play for my cousin. Your cousin never played basketball.
Yeah, because I don't know
They don't know
nothing.
nothing about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Man.
yeah, you should see how many people throughout the years be coming to me. Now, what they did though, so that was one of the biggest issues, nepotism and just I don't rub elbows with nobody. So when you see me, you normally see me if I ain't with my team, you see me by myself or my family.
Yeah.
So I ain't in nobody's cliques. You know what I'm saying? I've always been like that. Like, so I ain't in no cliques. I ain't in no politics. I ain't in no school beef. When I'm in school, I coach the Jamesville Middle School boys. I don't even tell people. I be looking at this like, yo, I'm this organization. I'm that organization. You got to come play for me. I ain't tell none of my players you got to come play. I would never do no tacky stuff like that. So wherever it is. If a child gravitates toward me, I'm not out saying you got to play for me because I'm your that's stupid to me. Let them kids, So rumors, community. But what happens when the community kind of shuts you this way, and they trying to prevent you from opening up the doors? If you strong enough and you, like you said, go back to the belief. Now they don't open up. So that's this part of the community. But Winchester is one of the fastest growing communities in the world. So at the end of the day, name one door. We done so much in the community now by just persevering. Name one door in the community that I can't open. So by you restricting me here and talking about me or kind of like trying to blackball me here, the NAACP come here and say, hey, we're going to offer you the community leadership impact award for the year because we see it. So you allow other individuals to see, powerful individuals to see you. So now any door from the Frederick County School Board, the Winchester School Boards, Front Royal, Winchester, I done gravitated to Loudoun County. I've already been a coach in Ashburn, D.C., Maryland. Name one door I can't touch that I can't open. You know what I'm saying? That I can't have access to open up or access to the top guy to get the door for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you put God first and you're dealing with people who blackball you and you're not from here. I don't care where you're from. If you're impacting the community, it's all that matters.
Because some of these pros that play for the city, they're not from there. They still impact the community.
Better?
Yeah, but I guess it's like with them, they dropping a lot of money. Your work is worth a lot of money. So you can't. At the end of the day, the impact is positive, and a lot of people see it more than the ones that don't. So do you? In the future, can we expect Unique Hoops to expand out of Winchester? Or
I did that before. I see no need. We're not big enough. I don't want to get that big where I want to have, and I'll say this too, I don't want to get that big where I have to have people in Florida and I got to manage something in North Carolina. I think what happens with that is, the management part of it and my day-to-day operations might change. What I see going for Unique Hoops, and we see this coming even with the Adidas stuff, with Casey, with the gymnasium, that's been a very powerful. Now, what we're building is, I don't need to go to you. You got to come to me. You know what I'm saying? So the next 10 years, we're looking at, hey man, you got to come to me. We got the networks. You're not gonna find too many people, maybe like a pioneer like Ert, somebody. If you're not like a Ert Green, like somebody that know that I tell people this all the time. Like me and Ert, I start laughing, give him a shout out. I'm like, man, competitors, bring him back. like bring him back. That's when it was real. Shout out Ert, man. So if you ain't no Ert, if you're not like an Ert Green, we're gonna have like just as many networks, or he older than me, or the longevity in the game. And it's not these young guys, they coming too. But the key to this thing, man, is your networks and your relationships, man. And these young guys, man, they done burnt. They don't, when you young and you hungry, you end up burning some relationships. So you don't get a chance to reach that longevity part, So I say for me would be, and I got some of the hottest young coaches out in the game right now. So we got a guy from Alabama played, and in reality, all of my coaches, like 90% of my coaches, they played college basketball. They graduated playing this thing. So their minds, when they come back so I'm like, okay, we got all the resources here, then you got to come to us. You know what I'm saying? Even if you look at some of the NBA lines, we have, you got to, okay, you looking at some of the Division I college coaches, Division II coaches, we done already had them in the gym. You're looking at what we can provide for your child from like we have a league with children that were superb. That's my league that works with children with disabilities. Like, yeah, you can't find nothing out here about that, you know. So they're going to have to come to us now. So that's where we're going. So me moving, like here, there, nah, I think we good. And Winchester growing, so you want them to come to you.
Yeah, grow right with it. All right, these last couple of questions is for you. Who was the best player you faced when you played?
Best player I faced when I played. Good question. Best player I faced when I played. If you go, I would say best player I faced. That's a hard one because I done faced
a lot of players.
I think one of the older guys that I faced. I would say Shaq. Me and Shaq used to go at it. I would give it. Shaq just was so strong. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I've had too many, so that's a
That's one.
It could be one of my friends. You know, when I was younger, my brother Mo. You know, we 12 years old in the backyard. Mo was bigger too. Like, God, yo, this guy.
You had to get through that.
Leaning on me, I'm like, yo, I'm like 150, like. Dog, stop trying to back me down. I done had too much smoke out here. I would say one guy that I wish I would have had a chance to really get busy with back then that I really liked was Brian Chase. I never was able to. I don't know what it was. You know, we had moved to Maryland, but even in the middle school area, ninth grade area, every time we played like city or tournaments and stuff, I never caught him like. In an open gym setting, I think I used to have a lot of respect for his game. I ain't gonna say look up to. I used to be like, yeah, shorty tough. Like I would say, Brian Chase is one of the ones I wish I would have been able to kind of match up with back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Brian Chase was tough.
Yeah, he was tough.
I was a kid too, walking in one of those league gyms, and he would just light people up.
Yeah, him, Eric. There was a lot of guys that I played against some of them, but like you said, if you look at who I wish I could have lined up with to see where I was at, it would have been at that. It would have been him. You know what I'm saying?
You know who Eric Bensu was?
Bentu.
Bensu. He went to. He was more in the Montgomery County
I don't
side.
know him. Like Pops. Pops. That's Bensu.
You were an offensive player. So who was